My father was always an absent presence. And I'm not saying he left home or abandoned the family. No, he was there. Every day. Sitting in the living room, reading the newspaper, watching soccer, occasionally asking about the household bills. He was physically present. But emotionally, I grew up fatherless with him inside the house. During childhood, I did everything to get his attention. I showed him my drawings. I talked about my grades. Sometimes I just stayed nearby, hoping to hear a well done, or maybe a simple I love you. But nothing came. The most I ever got was a glance over his shoulder and the sound of the TV louder than my existence. The pain of being ignored is not just the silence. It's the feeling of not existing, of not mattering, of being invisible even to the one who, biologically, should see you before anyone else. And I tried. I tried to be the son he wanted to see. Obedient, quiet, productive. I tried to like the things he liked. I faked interest in cars and politics and soccer. Not because I liked them, but because I wanted to get closer. I wanted a piece of him, any crumb of connection. But my father was made of stone. There was no affection, no hugs. Only cold demands, direct orders, and a silent judgment that hovered over me all the time. He didn't need to yell. His disdain was already loud enough. In adolescence, the distance became a wall. I stopped trying. He remained absent and sometimes even hostile. He seemed to despise me, as if my mere presence was a nuisance. I remember once hearing him say to my mother, "This boy is too soft." I was 13 years old, crying in my room, trying to hide a chest pain I didn't even know how to name. The pain of never having been loved, of not being enough for a father who never really wanted to know me. Little by little, I started to drift away. Not physically because we lived in the same house, but emotionally. I started to go quiet, to keep everything inside, to form the habit of expecting nothing, because expecting anything from him was just another way to get hurt. And so I grew up, graduated, got a job, moved out, went to therapy, rebuilt my world without him. But it still hurt. There was still that part of the child in me who dreamed of an unexpected phone call, a message of pride, a lunch that ended with, "I like you, son." But none of that came. Until one day he called. And it was the first time I heard his voice sound human, fragile, feared. He was in the hospital. Kidney failure. He was going to need a transplant. And the doctors said that if the family didn't help, his chances would be minimal. And then he said, "Son, I need a kidney." The pause after that sentence was a silence greater than all the ones he gave me in childhood. I didn't know what to feel. Didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or scream. The man who ignored me for decades, who treated me like a stranger, now called me son, now remembered I existed, now needed me because his body was failing. The truth is, I never wanted revenge on my father. I just wanted love. I just wanted to be important. I just wanted to be seen. But in that moment, something inside me broke. It wasn't anger. It was a kind of mourning. Mourning for a father I never had, and for a son who was never acknowledged. I didn't donate my kidney. Not out of cruelty, but out of self-respect. Because in that moment I understood. My body didn't need to pay the price of a relationship he himself destroyed. I didn't owe it to him to save someone who never tried to save me from the pain of growing up fatherless, even with him by my side. I cried. A lot. I cried for everything we didn't live. For the conversations that never happened. For the birthdays he barely remembered. For the drawings he never looked at. For the times I needed him, and he only existed as a shadow. It was in therapy that I came to better understand that pain. My psychologist introduced me to a concept: the emotionally absent living father. It's different from abandonment. It's when the emotional absence is so deep that the child internalizes guilt. They feel that the problem lies with them, that they are the one not worthy of love. According to Esther Harding, the father represents the axis of recognition and psychic structure. It is through the paternal figure that a child understands their value in the external world. When that father is neglectful, cold, or disinterested, the child grows up without a mirror, without ground, without a "I see you," and spends their life trying to prove themselves, trying to be enough, trying to earn love. But the truth is, no child should have to earn a father's love. That should come with birth. And if it didn't, it wasn't their fault. It wasn't my fault. Or yours. Today my father is alive. But the relationship died a long time ago. And what's left in me is not resentment. It's acceptance. And little by little, liberation. I'm no longer that boy waiting to be seen. I'm the man who sees himself. If you relate to this, if your father was also absent, cold, indifferent, I want to tell you, your pain is real. Your story matters. And you no longer need to beg for love where there's only silence. In the comments, if you want, share with me, what was the moment you realized your father was never really there? You are not alone. And your story might be the mirror someone needed to hear today to begin to heal.